Hey fellow musician, I'm back again with another short tutorial, and today I'll be showing you Teezio's Grammy Award winning vocal chain. So what I'm going to do is to play the before and after, and then I'll explain the entire process step by step. But for now, let's check out the before and after.
I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by. I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by.
So as you can hear, the difference is simply day and night. So let's go through each and every plugin. I'll disengage everything and then engage each and every plugin one at a time. Let's start with the Pro Q. So the Pro Q is just there to control resonant peaks. So let's check out the before and after.
I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by. I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by.
So the Pro Q is just controlling any resonant peaks to avoid any harshness or any piercing sound like sibilants and anything that pokes out on the vocal. Teezio usually does this in a different way, like he'll create a lot of notches. So I don't recommend that because it can create a lot of phase issues. Instead, I use like a maximum of 4 narrow cuts just to tame all the resonant peaks. And then next up, what you have on the chain is the pull tech. So the pull tech is just there to add warmth and some brightness as well to the vocal. So let's check out the before and after.
I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by. I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by.
Even with the volume difference, you're able to tell that the vocals sound much more warmer and it also sounds brighter. So what we have is a boost in the low end at around 100 Hz and then another boost at 10 kilohertz just to make sure that the vocals cut through and they also sound thicker in the mix so that they're not getting overpowered by the rest of the instrumentation. And then next up, what we have is a level 76. So Teezio uses the silver face. So I don't have the UAT silver face. The next best thing that I have is the 1176 Bluey. So let's check out the before and after.
Know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by. I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by.
So as you can see, we're doing around minus 3 dB of gain reduction. It's not really controlling the vocal that much. This is different for this vocal because what I have for this vocal is some automation to make sure that I reduce all the loud peaks and also control the sibilants as well. We'll talk about the sibilants later on, but for now, I used automation to make sure that I control the dynamics so that I don't have to use too much compression. That's why you are getting around minus 3 dB of gain reduction on the compressor. By the way, if you're still struggling with compression, make sure that you download my compression cheat sheet. To get my compression cheat sheet, make sure that you comment with the words cheat sheet and then I'll send you the download link. This guide will help you use compression with confidence so that you're not guessing the settings each and every time you apply compression, whether on vocals, on a bass, or any other sound in the mix. Even when you are mastering your music, you'll be able to use compression with confidence without guessing the settings. So let's move on. So what we have next is the neutron EQ. So for this example, what I have is a cut at around 400 Hz just to reduce some boxiness and then bring up the brightness of the vocal to help it cut through the mix. I also have a high pass filter just to remove any rumble in the sub frequencies. So let's check out the before and after.
Know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by. I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by.
Without the EQ, the vocal has some boxy frequencies and it's lacking in the presence of the vocal. So the EQ helps it sound much more present. Let's engage this and then move on to the next plugin. The next plugin is the RVox. So the RVox is just there to bring the vocals up front in the mix. So just to add some energy to the vocal. So let's check out the before and after.
Know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by. I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by.
This is all about volume and compression as well. So obviously, I know that this is bringing up the volume of the vocal, but this also helps the vocal come up front in the mix. This is much more different as compared to using your software fader. It's totally different because this brings out that energy to help the vocals cut through the mix. And then what we have next is Soothe. Let's check out the before and after, and then I'll explain what's going on with the Soothe plugin.
I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by. I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by.
So as you can see, we're not doing that much with Soothe 2. So with Soothe 2, what we're doing is to control any resonant peaks, but we're doing it in parallel. We're leaving some of it to come out so that the vocal still sounds natural. And one other important thing is the quality settings. I made sure that I have oversampling set to 2 and the resolution at high so that the plugin can work at its best, like optimum level, so that we don't introduce any artifacts to the vocal, so that we can keep it sounding as natural as possible. Now, when it comes to de-essing, what Teezio does is to use 2 different de-essers. As you can see, the first one controls the lower parts of the higher mid-range, so around 3 to 6 kilohertz, and then the second one controls the top end of the vocal. So this is from around 7 kilohertz up to like 14 kilohertz. In this vocal, I didn't use a de-esser. Normally, I don't use a de-esser. I rely on controlling sibilants, using a dynamic EQ, and Soothe as well. But most importantly, what I do is to control sibilants manually. So as you can see, I have some volume automation. If you check, you'll see that this is a sibilant sound. So as you can see, I'm controlling it using volume. So that's how I prefer to control sibilants, because I don't like the sound of de-essers. But if you are working on a project where the client really needs the song as fast as possible, then you can use this approach. This approach is much better because you're using 2 de-essers instead of overworking 1 de-esser. So let's play the before and after.
I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by. I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by.
In this case, you can hear that the sibilants are being over-controlled. So we don't want that. What we want is to make sure that we tame the sibilants without over-controlling them. So this is why I disengaged this, because I already controlled the sibilants using volume automation, and I also have Soothe and a dynamic EQ as well to control the sibilants or any harshness. So that's why in this case, I disengaged the de-essers. This is another important thing about using a vocal chain. Just because you have a vocal chain doesn't mean that you have to use each and every plugin. You use whatever the vocal needs in that particular situation. The goal of using a vocal chain is just to make your workflow much more faster, so that you don't scroll around a lot of plugins. Instead, you have the plugins ready, and if you want to use it, you just engage it, tweak the settings, and then move on. So that's the beauty of using vocal chains. It doesn't mean that if you have a vocal chain, you have to use each and every plugin in the chain. And then let's move on to the next plugin. What we have is another compressor. In this case, I didn't use this compressor as well because the vocal is well controlled. As you saw, I have some volume automation, and then I also have the 1176. So everything, when it comes to dynamics, we are good with controlling dynamics. But let's check out the before and after. But what Teezio uses this compressor for is just for control. As you can see, it's using a very fast attack and a medium release. So it keeps the vocal in control. Let's check out the before and after.
Know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by. I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by.
In this case, the vocal is starting to sound unnatural because it is being overly compressed. And that's not the sound that you're going for. So in this case, I'll just disengage the compressor. And then let's move on to the next plugin. As you know, every time you add compression, you will bring up the sibilance. That's why the last plugin in its chain is another de-esser to make sure that you tame all the sibilance. Now, because I didn't use the compressor before, this is why I'm not using the de-esser as well. But if you use the compressor, then you might find yourself needing to use another de-esser just to make sure that you control the sibilance or any harshness that might be introduced by the compressor. Let's check out the before and after.
I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by. I know that life is so demanding, but with patience and love and understanding, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by, we'll get by.
So as you can see, I'm just taming around -1 dB, maximum of 1.5 dB just to control the sibilance. So maybe I might keep this one or not. I'll just listen to the song, and if it's overly processed, then I'll disengage it. So if you are still struggling with compression, make sure that you download my compression cheat sheet. Just leave the words compression cheat sheet in the comments below, and I'll send you the free download link. And if you have any questions about this vocal chain, make sure that you leave your comment below, and I'll definitely get back to you. And that's it for this video. Take good care. Cheers.